Shane Collis here with the Oakville Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us on our live stream lunch. Today, we've got Matthew Stevenson from RBC, and he is going to talk to us about your options when retiring with a work pension. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about what you're regaling us with today.
Well, work pension, and when you retire, you're going to have a couple of options. Mm-hmm. One is going to be take the pension, take the monthly income. Yep. The other is going to be take the quote-unquote buyout and the ins and outs of that.
Okay.
So first thing I want to say is that it's a very specifically individual decision to make. Whether you take the pension or whether you take the buyout, it really comes down to specific personal circumstances.
Okay. All right. Well, and I got a few questions that we wanted to ask you here. Okay. So, first and foremost, if someone is retiring with a pension, what are the options that they're going to have?
One is the monthly income, yeah, and the other is the buyout.
Oh, right.
So
okay. Yeah.
First, with respect to the monthly income, if someone is single, then it will be a simple fact of having a monthly amount that's going to be showing up in your bank account.
Right.
This is your pension. Now, if someone is married, then they will also have the option available of taking a pension with survivor option. So this means the monthly amount is going to be less because we've now acknowledged that this is going to be paying out for as long as two people are alive, rather than just one.
Okay.
So hence they need to cut it down a little bit as far as what the payout will be.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah, gotcha. Mm-hmm. So this monthly income, like, how does that work?
How it works is very simply, it comes as income rather than cash. One thing very important to remember, as someone layers their retirement income and looks at what their plans are going to be for their cash flow, they're going to have their CPP and their OAS. And now if we're layering on top of that another source of income being this pension, we're going to want to look at how much is this going to be if I go single, how much is it going to be if I go survivor.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, it's a very specific thing. So if we are looking at the individual and we have longevity in the family, for example, then maybe it's a good idea to look at the pension because we're going to be living a long time. This will be a stream of money for a long time.
Right.
And another thing that people look at commonly is if we're going to be retiring with this pension, then maybe we can handle some debt in retirement.
Right.
Knowing that there's going to be that stability of income, and okay, we can handle making these payments because we know this is coming in every day, or
right,
every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had just mentioned time there.
Yeah.
So does the monthly amount change in time?
It depends if you get an indexed pension or not.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it will be a set amount. Here's what it's going to be for the rest of your life, and there will be no indexing to inflation. Some of them, not so often anymore, still do have indexing where it will go up based on a function of the consumer price index.
Okay.
But that will be set out with the company's HR department, be it at a private company that you're working for, be it you're a teacher, Ontario Power worker, or someone at RBC.
Yeah.
All of these various companies and institutions are going to have their own specific setup of their pension and what your options will be and if they're indexed or not.
Okay. All right. Well, continuing on with this is the buyout. Mm-hmm. What does that look like?
The buyout is an entirely different thing. This is where, rather than having simply an inflexible monthly amount for the rest of your life, or you or your spouse's life, the buyout is basically you're going to receive a substantial sum of money one time. And now it's going to be up to you to distribute it to yourself as your retirement income over the rest of your life.
So, an approach you have to be much more disciplined with.
Exactly, yeah. So, what it's going to look like specifically will be a cash amount as well as a locked-in amount, quote unquote. The locked-in amount is going to be an investment account of which you'll receive, depending on how much your pension is. It could be a couple $100,000, it could be $1 million, and you will be able to unlock a portion of that money so that now you'll have money in our traditional RIF.
Right.
The Registered Retirement Income Fund. Ultimately, if you take that buyout, you're going to end up with money in a cash account, non-registered, and money in a locked-in account and a RIF.
Okay.
And now, as you point out, it's going to be a function of discipline of yourself at what rate you distribute that money to yourself in retirement.
And with the kind of person I am, I can certainly see risk involved in that.
Okay, yeah.
Are there other risks that we should be considering?
Well, you're really hitting the nail on the head. How did you come up with that?
Well, I don't know. I seem well informed today.
Yeah. So I do get that question very often. When the buyout starts to look appealing,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to have this flexibility and whatnot. What are the risks involved? There must be something on the other end of the ledger here, and it definitely is that discipline.
Okay.
You know, if someone goes from, you know, having their paycheck from work every month, modest savings. Now all of a sudden I have access to hundreds of thousands of dollars that I never had before. One time, let's buy that 9-year-old Ferrari.
Harley
we've always had our mind on.
yeah.
So that's why it's very important to have that financial professional along every step of the way with you,
Right.
to make sure decisions like that aren't made.
You're a bit of a guidance counselor then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you know what, Matthew, thank you so much for this. Great little piece of information for our members out there. And by all means, folks, if you do need any information, you want to get a hold of Matthew Stevenson here from RBC, just give us a call. We're happy to help. Or I'm sure we can find you on LinkedIn and probably many
Sure.
other sources.
Yep.
Cheers. Thanks, folks.
Thanks for having me.